Hello ladies and gents, and welcome back to another television review, as today I'm here to review the first episode of the highly anticipated Marvel show, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And if you cannot tell by the title above, this is a spoiler review, so if you have not seen the first episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, go and check it out and watch the remainder of this video. So like many of you folks out there, I was looking forward to it because it's Marvel, Falcon, Winter Soldier. I know these characters, so going into it, looking forward to it, and my thoughts after the first episode, it was good. Now the episode starts off with a very entertaining action scene with the Falcon, and it almost felt like a 3D simulator ride at Disneyland, and I won't be totally shocked if Disney does come out and announce a new Falcon ride is coming to Disneyland. And after that, we then see a conversation between Sam Wilson and a military friend of his, and it was a nice little conversation. I dug how Sam was talking about how people are theorizing how they think maybe Steve Rogers is actually on the moon, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Marvel fans out there that are going to have their own theories about Steve Rogers as well. And after that, Sam then heads to Washington, D.C. to speak at a ceremony for Steve Rogers, and it was cool seeing War Machine Don Cheadle there. And then after that, having War Machine and Falcon have a little heart-to-heart, because, you know, these are two characters that have always been on opposite sides, so it was nice having that little conversation scene between the two of them. And then we see what's going on with the Winter Soldier and what he's up to, and I thought the dialogue between him and his therapist was very enjoyable. How she's talking about this 3 peaceful step process that Bucky should take in forgiving these people who used to work for Hydra. They're still alive, and you know, these are people that forced Bucky into doing very horrific things, like we saw in the action scene with him prior to this conversation scene between Bucky and his therapist. And I also thought the scene that they cut to in the middle of the conversation, where Bucky is walking up to this lady's car who used to work for Hydra. When he's walking up to his car, you know, we as an audience, we kind of think that he's going to kill her because he's the Winter Soldier. He's an assassin, and that's what we've kind of known his character as. I mean, he's obviously warmed up a little bit, but as he's walking up to the car, we're expecting him to kill her, and she's with this other guy. Bucky breaks his wrist, and we're like, oh, here we go, she's about to die. But then he follows that 3 peaceful step process that the therapist was talking about, and he said, "I forgive you." Or he doesn't say he doesn't exactly say "I forgive you," but he's practically saying "I forgive you," and it was totally unexpected, which made it kind of funny because we expected the total opposite to happen. We expected him to act aggressively, and he didn't, and that just shows how far this character has come throughout the MCU. And after that therapist scene, we then see that Bucky made a new friend in a man named Yori, and their relationship together was just full of heart. And when Bucky finds out that Yori lost a son and didn't know how he died, Bucky then starts to connect the dots and thinks that he was the one that killed him from the action scene that we saw earlier in the episode. And it didn't really hit me what was really going on until after that scene was over at that sushi bar place. And once I finally realized, oh, wait, I think Bucky killed this guy's kid, and my jaw just dropped. The way that they connected everything and did that little plot twist, I thought it was just fabulous. But meanwhile, we see Sam Wilson dealing with some family issues, and I really dug his relationship with his sister and the little back and forth as they're dealing with keeping their family afloat financially. And what this first episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier really showed is that these Disney Plus shows could take these secondary characters like Falcon and Winter Soldier and put them in the spotlight and have the audience care for them even more and get to know more of their background and where they come from and why they are the way they are at this point in the story. And it's hard to do that in a 2+ hour runtime of a movie. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode. Obviously, it ended off with the US government basically announcing that there's a new Captain America in town helming the shield, and I think that's going to be a tremendous motivator to Sam in ending up probably regaining the shield back because he knows what the government is doing with the Captain America symbol just isn't right, because this isn't what Steve Rogers would want. If anyone's going to helm the shield, it's Sam Wilson. And even though he doesn't want the shield right now, Sam knows that. And I think it's going to be a big motivator for him throughout the show, and he most likely will end up with a shield by the end of this show. So overall, tell me down in the comment section below of what you think of the first episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and did you enjoy it just like I did? And don't forget to like and subscribe, because that is very important. You can also follow me at The Kid Critic on Instagram, or at addamovieman on Letterboxd or Twitter. And as always, in every single video, look out for the next video or review, and peace.